4th and goal to go to the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Good old time for them. Unfortunately, one of those things that Shane and Daboll, I'm sure, absolutely love to do. Nothing better than go out there and answer a bunch of questions from the media. And the thing is, too, is that they know, whatever. 90% of the questions they're going to be asked. Yeah, of course, they know going to talk about, obviously, who's the starting quarterback? Is Jackson Dart doing? Might he be the starting quarterback? I mean, just is what it is. But I think they're out there for about 20 minutes talking to the media. So takeaways from Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll's press conference. Before the Giants took to the field for practice number 1, General Manager Joe Schoen and Coach Brian Daboll held their annual pre-camp press conference at the Quest Diagnostic Training Center. They spoke about everything from injury news to the direction of the quarterback position and their relationship heading into year 4 with the Giants. Giants made a series of injury-related roster moves the day before the first practice. So, as I said, they put Andrew Thomas and Eric Gray on the PUP list. Victor Dimukeje with his pectoral injury on the non-football injury list, and safety Anthony Johnson with the shoulder was waived. But I mean, at least, you figure also they only got 2, well, they got, I guess, 3 guys, but there's only 2 guys on the PUP list. So, as of right now, right? But those guys can come back at any time. So it's not a huge, long list of guys, right? And, you kind of get the feeling like with Andrew Thomas that maybe he's not ready to come back right now, but, in whatever it is, a month, 46 days, I think they said, when week 1 rolls around, he should be good to go. But once again, we have a long way to go with training camp this season, so there'll be unfortunately, a ton more injuries to talk about. Shane said and Thomas should be ready for the opener. Again, things change, he added. You can never be 100%, but we're going to take it day by day with him. When he's ready, he'll be out there, but we anticipate him to be ready for the opener. Staying on the injury front, wide receiver Malik Nabers was ready to go after he missed time in the spring due to a lingering toe issue. Also, Darius Alexander, he participated because he missed a bunch of time in the spring. And also, Scatterbull only played or participated in a handful of stuff during the spring. But once again, he's a full-time. It says here, running back Cam Scatterbull and defensive lineman Darius Alexander, 2 members of the draft class, are also full go. Shane and Daboll like the direction the quarterback room is headed. Russell Wilson is the starter. But then they ask, who's starting? Who's quarterback number 2? Huh? Is there a competition for that? We're going to go out here. We're going to practice. Guys are going to compete, and the roster will be set when the roster is set. Daboll responded. Our goal right now is just to improve each person every day, and we'll take it from there. The makeup of the quarterback room, from Wilson to Winston, to Tommy Chicken, Cutler, Parmesan, the Dart, to learn his peers. I really like the room. So he was in there early. Talking about Dart. Oh. Still learning the offense, Shane said about Dart, the 25th overall pick. It's a lot of you. It's a lot, and you got to know what everybody's doing. But you saw leadership, you saw arm talent, you saw athleticism, and again, he's a rookie. He's got a long way to go. And again, he's got a really good supporting cast and the people out there to help him. How and when will the Giants know that Dart is ready? Shane said he will lean on Daboll for those answers. I can watch practice and you guys can watch it, and then you get back, and then even after games, I get in there with Dave's on Monday morning or after practice, and sometimes things aren't on the quarterback because they say sometimes it was maybe an interception, but that wasn't on Jackson because the wide receiver was supposed to do this, right? So So you see maybe the quarterback throwing an interception, but it may not necessarily be on his fault, because you don't maybe necessarily know which way the wide receiver was supposed to go. Right? Shane says, some real benefits for a rookie quarterback to sit down and learn, but he has seen it go both ways. Going through the process, we have Mike Kafka on his staff, obviously as our offensive coordinator. He was in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. I think he played, obviously Patrick Mahomes played 1 game at the end of the year. And then, of course, after that, he played 1 game after that. He took over the reins and has never looked back. Then, of course, you got, they were out in Buffalo, right? It was supposed to be Josh Allen was supposed not to play so much his first year. But the way it worked out, halftime of the first game, we get blown out by Baltimore, and we put him in, and he played the rest of the season. I think there's some real benefits from sitting out and learning, specifically from some of the guys in the room that have the experience that they have. But if the coaching staff at some point feels it's right and he's ready, then I'll leave that up to him. So he's leaving it up to Dave's, right? Giants are third in the claiming order on the waiver wire, which means it will be a big preseason for them in terms of picking up players who will be released. That's good. Third. Once the preseason starts and there's other games again, there's going to be roughly 12 to 1,300 players cut loose by Labor Day weekend, Shane said. They'll call it the second draft. Shane, on the overall roster, just going into day one, there's some young guys that we've seen in shorts and T-shirts. So once the pads come on, interior, O-line, D-line, we will get a chance to see how those guys do when the pads come on. We feel good about where the roster is right now with the 91 players that we have with the international. They got supposed to have 90, but with Jude McAtamney, right? They have the international exemption with him, so they have 91 players on their roster. Now is when the competition really begins over the next few weeks in training camp, and I'm looking forward to that. Shane and Daboll gave thoughtful answers when asked about how the relationship has developed over time. Daboll says there's a lot that goes on to running an operation. We laugh about it all the time. 10 things that come up between 6 in the morning and 10 and 9 in the morning, like it did today. There's always something that you just can't go in at 6 o'clock in the morning, sit down and just start watching. There's 35,000 things that wind up going wrong. It is unbelievable. Shane said, I would say that the relationship outside the building, inside the building, and the communication and the respect that we have for each other, both have been doing it for a long time, and the ability to have hard, honest conversations together with each other behind a closed door and evaluate decisions, whether it's things we did in-game or draft picks or players that walked out, came in, traded for, whatever we did. We're always evaluating our decisions. But those hard, honest conversations and the amount of respect that we have for one another helps things work out. Daboll said, I think it sucks when you're going through it, but the tough times help. We certainly had a few tough times, but that's when you grow closer. That's when you're able to have those honest conversations, and you never want to go through those tough times. You wish you never lost a game. So, right? Wish you were where you wanted to be at the end of every season, but that hasn't been the case. But those help you in the long run. Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing is certainly. If everything was just hunky dory and everything just went according to plan and all of that, you learn a lot from adversity. You learn a lot from your mistakes. A lot, So, I mean, as I said, if everything went just smooth, that would be fantastic. But obviously, you learn from your mistakes, right? But everybody makes mistakes, or shall I say, everybody makes mistakes. Do you learn from your mistakes, or do you keep doing the same ones over and over? But I really think they have a very good relationship. Now, I have been saying this, and it just seems like they're not hooked at the waist anymore, whatever you want to call it, right? They're their own kind of entities now, right? The end of the season, just say we win 5 games once again. I hope to God not. or say we're 6-11, we stink once again. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Mara's got to sit down and say to himself, it's like, well, did Shane and company and all that supply Daboll and the coaches and all that with enough talent to look better than we did? If the answer is yes, well, then Shane might stay and Daboll might go. Or it might be, like, did Shane, or maybe did Daboll do all he could with what was given to him? And if the answer is yes, well, then Shane might go. It's like, did Shane give them enough talent to win more than 5 or 6 games? If the answer is no, then maybe Shane goes and Daboll stays. Right? Or it might wind up being, well, they both came in together. They both got to leave together. We'll have to wait and see. But at least the one thing is, it's that they worked together. That this will be their 4th year together right here, and they spent the time in Buffalo, so they are familiar with one another. And they're both trying their best to put the best product that they can on the field. It just hasn't worked out that way.